There is not a lot of exciting news in 2026, but one thing that has happened in January is AMD has released a new X3D CPU.
And it is the new GOAT of PC gaming, the 9850 X3D. But is it that much better than the 9800 X3D? Well, in today's video, we're going to benchmark and find out after a word from today's sponsor. I think everyone can agree that brushing your teeth is pretty important. But for something that I do every single day, twice a day, my old toothbrush just didn't give a good enough clean and felt pretty cheap and disposable. And that's why we made a switch to today's video sponsor, SURI, and their awesome toothbrushes.
Switching to SURI makes perfect sense because it comes with tons of features and gives me an amazing clean, making sure I'm starting off my day right and ending it right.
Beyond looking sleek with its minimalistic aluminum body, SURI's enhanced motor delivers more than 33,000 vibrations for a deeper clean, all while staying super quiet at 50 decibels.
SURI comes with medium, soft bristles which allow for optimal cleaning. And the plant-based heads are even recyclable. My favorite part is the travel case, which actually comes with a built-in UV light that kills 99.9% of bacteria.
There's no apps or gimmicks, just features that make brushing and your life better. Use code TOASTYBROS10 on checkout to save 10% off your purchase on a toothbrush over on SURI's website on top of the sales they're already running. Try it for yourself, you'll see why we love it so much. Thanks again to SURI for sponsoring today's video. Now let's dive back into it, shall we?
So we're gonna put a bunch of specs on screen, but basically our beloved 9800 X3D, the chip that Matt and I use in
7800 X3D.
Joni uses the older 7800 X3D. We all love these chips. Yeah,
Old.
we all love these chips, so they're great. And basically this is a refresh, a newer version of it. But when I say refresh, I literally just mean a slightly overclocked 9800 X3D. McAllister, show them the difference because it literally is 5.2 gigahertz on the 9800 X3D to 5.6 gigahertz on the 9850 X3D, and that's only when it's boosting. So keep in mind, when you're just doing normal tasks, it's the same CPU basically.
And it comes in at a price tag of $499, which at the time of filming this video, 9800 X3Ds are around $469. So that $30 price difference, I guess that makes sense, but how does that increase in clock speed with everything else the same actually impact gaming performance? Well, in this video, we're gonna be testing two different scenarios. One is our Let's Play benchmarks. We're gonna play Battlefield 6 and Arc Raiders at 4K, higher details with an RTX 5090, because of course, best CPU, best GPU, and see if you can notice the difference at 4K. I highly doubt that's going to be the case, but we'll run those benchmarks and then dive into some other testing where we do side-by-side tests at 1080p, which the average gamer with this configuration, not going to game at 1080p unless you're getting one of those crazy 720 hertz, 1000 hertz monitors out there. You're going to be gaming at higher resolutions, but 1080p allows us to really put the load on the CPU so we can see the difference between both of them and do those side-by-side so you can at home see, is the difference worth the upgrade? I'm gonna spoil it for you guys. It's not. But if you're at home watching this in the future and you're building a new PC, is it worth spending more money for the 9850 X3D over the 9800 X3D? We can talk about that during the benchmark run. But let's go over the test bench we have right here, which currently has a 9800 X3D in it. It actually doesn't, it has the 9850 X3D in it, but it originally had it, and that was our main test system for testing GPUs here on the channel. And we'll go over all those specs, and then we'll dive into testing.
For our Toasty Bros test bench, we have the Ryzen 7 9800 X3D 8-core 16-threaded processor. And to cool the CPU, we're using the Asus ROG Strix LC3 360mm AIO. The motherboard is an Asus TUF Gaming B850 Plus Wi-Fi DDR5 board. We have 32 gigs of Team Group Delta RGB 6000 MHz CL28 RAM. Our NVMe is a 4TB Lexar NM790 Gen 4 SSD. We have plenty of power with the Asus TUF 1200 watt power supply that is fully modular and ATX 3.1 ready. Our case is the Asus TUF GT502, which is a pretty large full tower case, and then we loaded it with Asus TUF TR 120mm ARGB fans. So now that we have talked about our test bench, we talked about the two CPUs, we are going to be doing a bunch of benchmarks, and we gotta swap the CPUs, so let's go ahead and get to benchmarking. All right, we're inside of the Arc. We're inside of the Arc Raiders in Buried City, and we are currently running some crazy settings. Probably the highest things we'll normally run. So we're running 4K. We are currently using DLSS on the 4K res, set to DLAA, so technically we're
anti-aliasing native resolution.
We're not even doing any type of upscaling, which is kind of crazy. Using the transformer model, which is the newest. And we also have max FOV. We got dynamic high ray tracing, high settings, and we're getting higher FPS than we normally get.
Yeah, baby, 150
Yeah.
plus, and we can you can page up and we can see what we're working with.
Give them some averages.
Yes, sir. But yeah, obviously we're doing 4K gaming here. It's gonna be harder to notice a difference, I would imagine, between these two CPUs. We haven't tested it yet, but I would imagine when we're doing our 4K gaming with Arc Raiders and Battlefield 6, it's gonna be hard because we're talking, I was just looking at this before we dove in, we're looking at like a 400 megahertz difference. That's all we're really looking at between these CPUs. I'd imagine in esports titles, 1080p low settings, you're just trying to get the highest possible FPS and post online that you get the highest possible FPS. That CPU seems like it'll get the improvement. But I imagine in this scenario, we won't see anything. But I could be wrong.
I'll be
could
shocked.
be wrong.
Well, especially because of the utilization. I feel like that's where it's like, just because the CPU's faster, it's being used 50%. Like,
Yes.
I don't see how that could be better, but you never know.
You never know.
We've been wrong before.
We have been wrong more than we're right. Let's be real. And look at that. Look at that 5090. I love seeing the 5090 wattage.
Yeah, that's like almost hitting 500 watts at points.
Why's your gun looking like that?
I'm dancing.
Oh,
Check me out. Oh, I hear some. Uh-oh.
Oh, this is the arcs.
They got reinforcements.
You damaged the Arc, the
Oh.
Arc Covenant. Oh no. Ooh,
Oh, he's shooting him. Look at that.
go teammate, go.
Yeah, brother.
Oh no, there's
Another
more.
The Arc army is coming.
You must. Oh, there's so many of them.
Where are all them coming from? You're done for, buddy.
Ooh.
You know what? I'm gonna loot this one. This is
Ooh,
crazy.
He does need some loot.
Yeah, we're like out of ammo. I had to buy more stuff. Until you know things are not looking good, we're having to buy things.
So yeah, obviously no major stutters. 1% low is way above 60, so freaking smooth. Like we're not having any major issues with lag spikes or anything like that. 100 plus FPS without DLSS. I mean, you got frame gen also. You can do it 4K if you want to.
And in theory, I guess the slightly faster CPU would
Yeah.
give you a little bit more, frame gen and stuff, but
Good. A little more potentially. We'll
No.
mainly be focused again on the side-by-sides at 1080p to just try to find the difference. But if we're going into this with a little bit of pessimism and you sense that, it's because we're just kind of wondering, is this really worth it for anybody unless they just are building a new PC and they happen to get the slightly faster one for a little bit more.
And also keep in mind, a thing that happens a lot is something will be like insanely different in price, but like barely different in performance. And Matt and I'll be like, oh, it's bad, don't pay it. But remember, if it ends up being the same price, why not get the better one?
Why not get the better one? It's an improvement. The fastest gaming CPU technically has gotten faster.
Yeah. I would say the new one should be faster than 9950 X3D in gaming too. I would think.
You would think so.
All right, so I guess like 156. No, 149,
yeah.
low of 91.
Low of 91. All right.
That's crazy at 4K.
Pretty crazy. Let's see what the new 9850 X3D can do. Can we notice a difference?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're on the AMD new and improved X3D chip, the slightly new and improved. So we're currently running the same settings. I'll show you. DLSS, DLA, transformer. High settings for Arc Raiders, very high settings, and the game is still beautiful. We're gonna go ahead and press page up. We're on Buried City again, different spot. So it's, as Matt and I say, that's why we give you guys the built-in benchmarks so that they're like literally side by side. But we also like to do these, kind of test where we're actually playing to really see if we truly feel a difference. And obviously when we're getting 100 plus FPS at 4K, it's already pretty good.
Yeah, the numbers we had before was 149 average with 1% low of 91. 4K is the resolution where just any CPU, you really aren't going to notice that difference, theoretically. I mean, there is still scenarios where it could be higher, but it really comes down to GPU bottleneck and mainly GPU bottleneck. Like, for the most part, our GPU is what's going to be holding us back at 4K, and the averages, it just show that. I mean, in this scenario right now, we're right about the same, but based on the average I'm seeing, we might actually be a little lower.
Yeah, so I think, and that's the thing, I think that's how a lot of these tests are going to be, is just almost back and forth because of error. There's going to be like, let's just say a 3 to 5% error, and if AMD themselves are saying the CPU is 6% better, that 3 to 5% may literally make it look like the same CPU. And that's why I think ultimately, at the end of the day, Matt and I both have 9800 X3Ds. Jonah has one. A few people in the office have one. They're great CPUs. If the 9850 X3D ends up being the same price, almost like a predecessor or replacement, it's still great. It's great. But it's like if it's $100 more, I don't know.
Well, breaking news, they did just email us the price this morning while we're filming the video.
Oh my gosh.
$499.
Oh,
So basically, what, $40 more?
Yeah, and well, sometimes they've been $500.
Yes.
Like the 9800 X3D has been $500 before.
So $499 is the price. We have already talked about it during the intro, but the way we film these videos, logistically, I found out the price just about an hour ago.
Yeah, because I was saying, clearly I did not know the price. That makes me feel a little better because I don't know, I kind of hope AMD doesn't, because I just like the 9800 X3D, like the normal one. But I could see them just being like, for whatever reason,
just
for marketing, we're just gonna make this one. And if it ends up becoming $40 more the same price, sure, why not? Like, I'd be okay with that.
What I could really see is them just having 9800 X3D and 9850 X3D and being done with the 7800 X3D. I could see that.
That could, and if they lower the 9800 X3D because of the CPU,
then there you go, you got good
I'd
options.
mess with that.
But yeah, these numbers are within margin of error. I mean, we're literally at 3 FPS difference. That once Jackson goes down here, the averages are gonna start going up again. And that 1% low is identical right now.
Yep, we'll see once we're chilling in here. FPS has gone back up a little bit. The average is gonna definitely go back up before we end it. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where hopefully you guys are expecting exactly what we expected, because that's what we're getting. You know, it's a very, very marginal difference. And at the end of the day, it's still the best gaming CPU on the market, especially for gaming and more, really.
And those crazy people out there who have one of those future 1080p 720Hz monitors, little spoiler, some of those benchmarks will get you there.
Yeah.
So again, it's the best gaming CPU that's got a little bit better. We're not expecting dramatic improvements, especially at 4K. At 4K, it doesn't matter. Get the one that's a little bit cheaper if you want to. Or if you just want to flex and say I have the greatest one, you can get the greatest one.
That definitely is how this feels. Because now I'm like, my 9800 X3D, it's not good anymore.
It's trash, it's e-waste. In this RAM market, we can't afford to be that enthusiast, guys.
No.
Wow, we ended with a 149 average with a 1% low of 93, and that is the same average but with a higher 1% low.
By what, 2 FPS?
By 2 FPS.
6%.
Let's see what happens with Battlefield 6 at 4K. All right, guys, we are now in Battlefield 6 on the 9800 X3D, and we're currently running the following settings. We're once again at 4K on the high graphic preset. Here we go, this is what we're working with. In advanced, we have no upscaling. We're running anti-aliasing on TAAA. And we are running, 4K. So let's go ahead and do our page up here and see what kind of FPS we can get. This is looking quite beautiful.
Does look good.
Very, very, very nice looking. Once again, we're at 4K, so we'll see if there is a difference. But at least with this game, every time we have tested it, the CPU does get stressed a lot in high scenarios where there's like a lot of enemies. Ooh, did I find the farm? Oh, I think they found me first. But even in this game, 9800 X3D, 60% usage. So we're still bottlenecked by our GPU in this scenario. So will the faster clocks make a difference? We will see. I like our bots are really working here. That 1% low is crazy though. That's a really, really solid 1% low.
Yeah, at these settings.
That is insane.
I feel like normally the 1% low is about half of the average.
Guys, oh no, they're dying in front of me. Yeah, Texas Ranger. Oh goodness.
Oh my god.
Ugh. And the fun part, oh goodness, put the meds down, meds. Whoa! And the I would say best part is, technically we're using a board that's not, I mean, it is a high-end board, it's a B850 motherboard, but we're not like top-of-the-line crazy X870 here, which again is normally, as budget gamers, we recommend you go that route anyways. Because X870, unless you know you're gonna need those extra features from X870, a really good B850 is gonna handle any AM5 CPU you want. But I'll run around here a little while longer. Let's get a couple more kills. We're cooking. Oh, I'm dead. We'll do one more life, but we're pretty consistent around 143 FPS with a 1% low of 109. Oh, and I'm dead. But hey, we'll go ahead and stop right there. 143 average, 1% low of 108. What will the 9850 X3D do? Let's see. All right, guys, we are back in the exact same location, I believe. Let's go ahead and go to graphics here. We're on the 9850 X3D. High settings, high across the board, advanced, looking about the same. And we're still at good old 4K. And last time we got an average of 143, 1% low of 108. Here we go, see how she holds up. Let's get out into this battlefield where I was fighting for my life last time. So once again, we're at 4K. Not expecting a dramatic difference. 143, 106, we're looking really close. Guys, we need new GPUs. That's what we need. We need new GPUs, and the CPU will be able to shine.
Yeah, that's kind of,
oh goodness, oh goodness.
It does seem to be the bottleneck, which is crazy.
Yep, it is the bottleneck.
5090, not enough. Where's the TI?
Yeah, where's the TI at? All right, let's start cooking. Sunk cost, you're done. You're a sunk cost. Goodbye. Oh. Grenade? Oh, I knew that was a good grenade as soon as it left my palm. It's smooth. And kind of before we went into this, you know, we're kind of old. We've been doing this for a bit. Just looking at the specs on paper, it just kind of felt like this is what we were going to get. And it's not a bad thing, but at 4K, you're just not going to notice a difference. And I wouldn't really stress about it.
It's like the 8350 to the 9590, except the 9590 was like so many more watts for such little.
Yeah, you're not really, it's not like you're getting a crazy CPU that's super inefficient or anything. You're just getting a little more performance. That's why it's the 9850 X3D and not something even crazier. Oh goodness, I died. But yeah, since we're in a different area, I just like cut my foot going across that barbed wire. I'm gonna run this life out right here, and then we'll get our averages, which I think the 1% low is slightly lower, and the average is slightly lower, which, again, margin of error. 4K, the 3 FPS. Oh, this is, oh, wait a minute, boys. The funnel's back. Come back.
What the hell?
Oh, no. Oh! Oh! And then the real guy found me.
Unk found you.
That's crazy. All right, we're gonna stop right there. 140 average, which is lower. 1% low 103, which is lower. Such a small difference in a multiplayer game that's super inconsistent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That it's one of those where, again, we gotta do some more testing at 1080p. Kind of new going into it, 4K wouldn't be that noticeable, if anything at all. Let's see if 1080p shows it, where we really stress the CPU, do a little side-by-side benchmarks there, and then come to conclusion. 9850 X3D. 9850 X3D. That is exactly what it is.
It is.
Slight uptick in performance from the greatest gaming CPU on the market. Stop bringing me back! All right, guys, we had our fun at 4K, and the difference wasn't super noticeable, but that doesn't mean there isn't a difference, and we'll show you guys at 1080p, which will really isolate our CPUs, what that difference looks like, and you guys at home can see, is this CPU worth it? The games we decided to test at 1080p are as follows. We ran CS2, Rainbow Six X, Marvel Rivals, Black Ops 7, and 3D Mark Time Spy. First up in CS2, this is the battle of super high FPS numbers at 1080p low settings. The 9800 X3D got an average of 896.5 FPS with a 1% low of 302, while the 9850 X3D got an average of 975.7 FPS with a 1% low of 332. And look at that, we have a performance uplift of about 80 FPS on average, which is a difference, but once again, we're almost nearing that 1000 FPS mark. The average PC gamer really isn't going to care about that difference, but for those chasing the best of the best, it is the best. Next up, Rainbow Six X, 1080p low settings, the 9800 X3D got a 624 FPS average with a minimum of 566 and a max of 694, while the 9850 X3D got an average of 669 FPS with a minimum of 613 and a max of 746. Again, across the board, the 9850 X3D is an improvement from the 9800 X3D, albeit it is a pretty small margin and one you may not really care about. It is an improvement, and the extra clock speed is helping us out here getting some higher FPS numbers. Next up, Marvel Rivals, 1080p low settings with DLSS set to native. The 9800 X3D got an average of 294 FPS with a 1% low of 187, while the 9850 X3D got an average of 308 FPS with a 1% low of 102. Marvel Rivals is a much more GPU-bound game, and our 5090 was getting worked here even on lower settings, but it does show there is still a difference at this resolution, but that margin is shrinking in a game that is more GPU bound. Next up is Black Ops 7, 1080p on the basic preset. With the 9800 X3D and the built-in benchmark tool, we got an average of 382 FPS with a 1% low of 251, and on the 9850 X3D, we got an average of 400 FPS with a 1% low of 257. Once again, an improvement, and I was actually surprised to see an improvement because Black Ops 7 is notoriously more of a GPU-bound game than a CPU-bound game, but the extra clock speed does give us higher FPS numbers, getting into that 400 mark on average and a slightly higher 1% low. And lastly, we ran 3D Mark Time Spy. And with the 9800 X3D and the 5090 combo, we got a score of 36,625 with a CPU score of 15,178, while with the 9850 X3D, we got a total score of 37,034 with a CPU score of 15,807. Well, that was a lot of benchmarks to show you guys that the 9850 X3D, yeah, it's a better CPU than the 9800 X3D. Is it that much better that someone should upgrade to? No, and we'll talk more about that during the outro, but it's cool to see AMD releasing a new CPU in this PC market that nothing new is really coming out, so at least we got something new, right? Yeah, let's just go and wrap this video up.
So after a lot of back and forth benchmarking, the consensus is pretty much what we said from the start. There is not a major difference, and I don't even think AMD was trying to claim that there was. They said 6%, and I feel like that's about what we saw in certain applications. Certain games was about 6% performance increase on the 9850 X3D. Now, a $30 price difference, I mean, 6% when you're talking high end, that's actually not crazy when you really think about it, because go from the 5080 to the 5090. That is probably what, like a 30 to 40% increase, and you're paying, oh, I don't know, 120% more, maybe more now.
In this market, even more.
Probably a lot more. So realistically, AMD's not crazy for charging $30 more, but the end all be all is, should you buy it? Well, at the end of the day, Matt and I love the 9800 X3D, so if for some reason you can't buy the 9800 X3D, buy the CPU all day, every day. If you can have a choice at both and it's a $30 difference, you're already spending $469.99 on the CPU. What is an extra $30? But if you're really budget conscious, then you could just get the OG 9800 or 7800 X3D.
And as you mentioned during the benchmarks, in theory, this could lower the 9800 X3D price, or maybe even get rid of the 7800 X3D, where your two options for the best gaming CPU would be the 9800 X3D at a lower price point, or the CPU at the premium price tag. But we don't really know that, that's just speculation. So I'm gonna hear from you guys. Are you excited about the 9850 X3D? Are you building a gaming PC around it? We did upgrade our test bench for future GPU videos with it. We're gonna keep that CPU in here so we have the latest and greatest, but are you guys even considering it? I wanna hear from the comments down below.
But as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you check out our other two YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/toastybros, and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Now at PCBros.tech, we actually are doing a really cool limited CPU, limited edition serialized run, and we don't have many left, so go check those out with the link down below. Also, we got a sweepstakes that's running until the end of the month at PC Bros as well.
And I got even more news for you. We have a marketplace section on PC Bros. You could buy some stuff that gets featured here on the YouTube channel, and stuff that normally was just left up front to our storefront is gonna go on the website for you guys, and you can save some extra money by using code TOASTYBROS on checkout. You will save 3% of your next purchase. See you guys there, bye-bye.